All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Open Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I am doing great. The rain has abated. You notice no umbrella today, so that's always
Yeah.
a good thing. How's your morning going?
Good. There is a little rain over here, cloudy, and we got a little bit of showers, but nothing like over the weekend. So we'll take that. But other than that, morning's going amazing, my friend. Let's get to some of the stuff we have on this Gappers list today. So over here, we have a couple of things on there. Uber, obviously the big one, and Lyft. Uber reporting this morning. Did Lyft report as well? I don't recall if Lyft was reporting also. I know Uber
Uh,
for sure.
I don't think they've reported yet. At least I haven't tracked it.
No, yeah, Uber definitely reported. I don't think
They've
Lyft.
reported for sure.
Yeah.
Thursday. Lyft reports Thursday.
Oh, okay.
After.
All right. So they're just getting a little bit of a sympathy move here. Obviously, those two businesses are too alike, as you mentioned yesterday. It's not really a whole lot
Yeah.
of competition for that type of business. So they're up 3.4 with Uber 9.2. So we'll see what's happening there. And then over here on our gap down, there's a couple of names that we're not familiar with. We've seen some of these before. They're not great traders. Two up here with some really big numbers, 45% and up 25% on CHGG and TVTX. And VP, obviously a well-known company. We'll see what's going on there. Quick look at some of the stuff we had yesterday, which again was not a easy day, Peter, for a lot of stocks we were watching. Starting with JP Morgan, this was kind of a secondary play from the stuff we saw the day before, where we had a nice gap up and stuff like that. So here you can see. Uh, Not as much movement, which is typical banking trading, right? They don't get a whole lot of movement. It was not an easy trade. It did get better later in the day. You did get better movement, as you can see. Oh, I'm showing you guys though. I'm looking at the. I am doing one thing on one chart where you guys are looking at the wrong one. So let me go back to there we go. Look at the bottom chart. Here it is. So there it is. It got definitely got better in the mid morning to later parts of the day. It did extend the range, but at first every candle overlapping the previous candle, so a little bit tough there. If you waited this one out, you probably could have gotten some kind of move here, but not an easy one on JP Morgan. We also had Uber on deck as well. We had Uber for a possible play, but we knew today was most likely going to be the day. If you guys remember, our list yesterday was not very, very great. There was a lot of things that did not look great, and throughout the day, things were a little bit choppy. And we might see some of that even today as we wait for tomorrow's big meeting, right? FOMC. Here's AMD. Actually, AMD, I didn't pay too much attention to it, but it actually did trade very well. Nice little short here, Peter. Not sure if you traded this one, but definitely a good
You bet.
opportunity at the open. And then from there, it just went sideways, right? It didn't do a whole lot besides that first hour of the market open. We had Amazon, which actually was decent, held on to the nine moving average here, a nice drop, then went sideways. Tesla was a little bit all over the place, did get better, similar to kind of like JP Morgan, did get better later parts of mid morning and afternoon. And then Apple was just messy, man. It was just all over the place. Look at these wicks here. There was really nothing going on. I know looking at it now after the fact, you can see, okay, yeah, this thing, yeah, I traded very well, Carlos. What are you talking about? But if you're looking at the price action, it was pretty tough to trade with what seemed to be lighter volume than usual as well. So there you have it. That was yesterday. And Nvidia too. Nvidia actually did okay, man. And if you can see here, hold on a second. Let's take a look. Yeah, it did stall at a point. Yeah, so yeah, it did okay, man. I wish I would have been had this on my main list. I did not. But I saw what you guys did and some trades you guys took. This did all right. So that was yesterday's action. Peter, latest and greatest for today as we wait for the big day tomorrow.
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, the big announcement, if you will, on rates is tomorrow. No surprises expected, but it doesn't mean the market still doesn't go into sort of a calm period awaiting that. Internationally, we're seeing that the futures are down pretty much across the world, and we're seeing the North American markets down slightly this morning as well. Today, we only have two things of note: the job openings and factory orders that are both coming out at 10 a.m. Not big, massive market movers, but the market still, reacts. And it's funny because in our room, Thor, for example, when he's on the microphone, tracks sort of the orders as they sort of sit on the book, and he knows the book clears right before 10 o'clock. So everybody's waiting for these announcements. So we expect that again today. A lot of earnings today. Earnings season continues. It's earnings palooza out there. Not all of which we really care about, but there's a lot of companies that are announcing earnings. We'll talk about a few of them here this morning. Some are on our list, some are not. So yeah, let's get busy with that.
All right, thank you very much, Peter. All right, guys, let's get to it. See what we have here on this gap up list. We'll start there. Let's start with LEJ. I don't think I've ever seen this one. LEJU. So let's see here. Let's get to our charts. Okay, so looks like they had some action yesterday. It was not on the gap up list, so this might have happened after the open. This morning they're up 60%. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, guys. 1.3 million shares traded. What is the float on this, by the way? Let's take a look. 2.3. So very, very low float ticker here this morning. Any great news on this, Peter?
No, I mean, well, I haven't really seen anything. So
Okay.
this is a Chinese real estate company. Chinese real estate's always a little funky to try and follow, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. If you remember, we had the big failure of the largest real estate company in China. Whoa, that's like 6 months ago now. Anyways, a little while ago, and ever since, this sector has been a little bit in a tailspin. So I don't really see. I mean, they reported on their second half results. It looks like they had a bigger loss than expected, but I don't know. The reports are incomplete in what I've seen so far. Bottom line, like you said, we've never really seen it. So I don't know what to expect from it as a trader. There must be some good news because look, it's up 60% on some volume, but I can't make heads or tails of what's actually going on here.
Yeah. And it does, man, it just looks one of these tickets you got to be very careful with. It's a Chinese company overseas. Anything can happen. It's a low, the flow is 2 point something. So again, be very mindful if you're going to be watching this today. Right now, though, it's not looking great, right? Right now, it has kind of lost a lot of the momentum here, right? So we had a nice pop early on, and then right now it's just kind of been sliding down here. So this is not good, even for a low flow stock. It's gotta get better than this. So I'll keep it off my list. If it gets better, you guys can throw it back out to me. Let's see what else we have here. Control A, Control X, clean this up. There we go. Just a few more. Perfect. All right. Sorry, guys. Want to clean this up before we continue here on our list. Get rid of AMD, which I'm probably going to have anyways. So we'll see in Apple. All right. Next on the list, what do we have? We have MS. Is this Madison Square Garden? What is this? MSGM?
No, it's funny because I
It
was
looks
getting
like it.
confused because I was watching MGM because they reported, and then MSGM shows up, and it's Motorsport something, Motorsport
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah.
Seems to be a gaming company. So
Yeah.
there's been some acquisition in the gaming industry. I don't know if this is a sympathy move because I mean it is a low float, like really low float, and
Oh yeah, I see that.
right, and the price is below $10, which means it's very volatile. So I don't like I can only assume it's either sympathy or there's some acquisition news that is hit, or sorry, that insiders maybe know about that hasn't hit yet, and that's why it's moving up. Because again, with a 500,000 share float or 2 million, no, that's something different. I
No,
show
this is
500,000 shares.
I have 1.3 million.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
1.3. Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't take much to move this thing. So, yeah, I mean, again, no news that I can find out, but this would definitely go in the high risk pile. And look at the pre market. I mean, it doesn't really look good. The volume that we see is only 140,000, and it happened in just a couple of little blocks.
Yeah, it's volume is extremely light. We've seen some good low floats for that category, but not this one. This is not looking good. Let's take a look at the next one on here. IMTX this morning. Another one that doesn't look great off the top here. Just looking at the pre-market right now, we are up 31%, 386,000. You got some movement on here. This is not a low flow, 52 million shares float, but again, it's just no great pre-market action. Does not look like it trades well. Barely gets any volume. Usually these tickers are not great for intraday trading. So I'm gonna keep this one off my list, guys. All right, let's get to something that might look a little bit better today. Uber and Lyft. So let's take a look at Uber. Right now, up 9.7. We are up this morning, 4.1 million shares traded. Now, the last 2 days of trading has done very well. You can see some good movements here. And today we're gapping up huge. Obviously, earnings treating them well this morning.
Yeah, so Uber, we were sort of waiting for the earnings. Remember, they were moving preemptively yesterday, and then the earnings came out, and it looks like they beat their numbers and they raised their guidance. They say they've got a good quarter coming. They expect a good quarter, and they've got some enthusiasm back into Uber. We can see right below them, Lyft also gapping. Really, it's a sympathy play in because of Uber's earnings, and the expectation, of course, is that Lyft is going to perform equally well. Their earnings, like we just mentioned a few minutes ago, aren't until later this week. So, yeah, I mean, it's good news for Uber, and let's see what happens. You can see they've been sort of sliding off the last couple of months, really since their last earnings, and this is a pretty big gap up. We're on the daily chart. It looks like we're heading towards some interesting levels. So it's at least going on my secondary. We'll see what else happens, but I'll be keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, the way this list is going this morning, this will be on our main. Not a whole lot looking good right now, but I'm with you, man. This is one that I wish it would trade better, and it just doesn't at the market open. We've seen this over and over again. So right now, 9.5 today though, with so much light stuff that doesn't look all that great. This could be interesting. We'll see if it attracts more traders to trade it today. Lyft doesn't look all that hot for me. So I'm going to just keep Uber. I think it looks much better. Has the volume, obviously the one with the news. Although the daily on Lyft, though, the daily seems like is interesting here as we had this huge gap down back in February. Maybe we were trying to get into that gap. That could be nice. But I think we'll see more action when they actually report. Did they have the same success that Uber is seeing today, right? Let's see here. Lyft, we looked at ARRY. I recall the ticker, not how it actually trades this morning. Looks like just one block trade, not really in play. So yeah, nothing happening there. Let's look at Riot and Mara just sneaking into our list this morning. There is Riot just getting above that 200,000, 3% up this morning. Not much to go on right now, just volume and gapping up. Mara is the same thing, popping up just now. Getting above that 2% and 209. So I'm not seeing anything great on it, but they seem to be getting some volume in the last couple of minutes. Let's put them as a possible. We'll come back to them in a second here. Let's see if there's anything happening in that area that might make this more interesting. It looks like they're starting to get somewhat going right now. All right, let's head over to our gap down list, guys. CHGG this morning. What do we have here? This is down 45%, 2.1 million shares traded. Someone's getting fired, Peter. You might not have the name of that person yet, but what's going on with this one? Down huge today.
Yeah, we've seen them pop up on our list occasionally, and it's usually with these big, crazy moves. They're an educational training service company out of the U.S. They basically they're moving down. Interesting. This is like AI related news. So for an education company, again, it doesn't seem to matter what industry you're in. AI can either make you or break you, I suppose. But the expectation is, anyways, that training companies like this are going to be severely impacted by like AI bots that are going to be able to interact with students without the need of actual teachers. So there's sort of some news that the student there's an increased interest in Chat GPT and others to get sort of tutoring or mentoring, or because you can just ask questions and it'll answer questions like a live tutor. Why would you need to pay the high fee for an online educator? So I don't know that that's real, but that's sort of the rumor. And when you're a relatively small company that your sole source of revenue is online training, and it was like, hey, I can get it for free for an AI bot, you get days like this.
I agree. Universities they're gonna have to get very creative on how they move forward. Unless you're gonna become some kind of doctor or something, they're gonna have to get very creative, man. It's just the future. Not now, but in a couple of years, things are gonna be insane. Just research alone. I'll give you one example since we have time. This list doesn't look great. My father's a pastor, so you guys know we're talking about ChatGPT. I was trying to explain to him what this is all about, this AI thing, right? So he's like, "Well, how
Right.
can I use it if I'm a, if I'm going to prepare a sermon?" Okay, simple. We went on ChatGPT. We say, "Hey, compare a couple of top forgiveness stories for forgiveness from the Bible," and it picked four top stories. And then we say, "Okay, combine them with actual verses that support these stories," and it did just that. And then now translate it to Spanish because my father's not speaking; he's Spanish speaking, and it did that. So he's like, "Wow, this would have taken me to actually find the verses. Would have taken me days to do that." I'm like, "Yeah, well, there you have it. We did it in 5 minutes." So
There you
it's
go.
it's incredible what it can do as far as putting things together and matching things up. So really, pretty nice. Yeah, it's really incredible. So
Yeah,
these
I mean,
guys,
if you've never played with it, it's worth going
oh
out there, everybody.
yeah,
Whether it's ChatGPT or any of the others, just play with it because you can't actually rely on the information. By the way, because as you said, we got a minute here, but let's talk about it. It is fascinating, but it is a toy. We have to remember that at this point.
yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you go into a ChatGPT, which I have used, ask it the same question 5 times, you'll get 5 different answers. They're all like sort of legitimate answers, but they're different answers.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not like you consistently are getting the right answer. So you've got to remember that, because if you're going to ask something important, it's not necessarily going to give you the facts in an ultimate sense. But like what you were just saying, Carlos, ask it to write a story or synthesize
right.
data and give you an outcome that's more like a colloquial statement that you want to make, like a sermon. Yeah, you could do that,
Yeah,
and you get
fine.
wow,
Yeah,
this great
yeah.
stuff.
And he
Cool.
and my father's been doing it. I mean, he doesn't need it. He's probably not going to use it at his age now, right? He's retiring next year, so it came too late for him anyway. But the idea is he looked at it. He's like, wow, this all looks correct. Like he actually confirmed it, like because
Yeah,
knowing the Bible so well. So there's some things you could do with it, and as people keep investing money, it's only going to get better, right? So
yeah.
we'll see, man.
The
We'll
the
see.
big problem, you were talking about this a little bit yesterday. The big problem is we tend to put too much faith in these things, and like Robbie is saying in our chat room and others, and Spaniard, you can't let it think for you, and you can't assume that it's right, because
It's
all
a
it's doing
research
is
tool,
synthesizing
right?
information that's available on the internet, and we all know that the internet isn't right. But just because the bot puts it all together and says with confidence, "Here's your answer," doesn't mean that it's factually correct. It just means that's the common view of the information it found, or the stuff that it chose to regurgitate to you. So
Right,
anyways,
right.
it is sort of interesting to see where this may go. And as we can see with where we started here with CHGG, if you're on the other side of it, right or wrong, it just takes sort of one news story to say, hey, guess what, an AI bot's going to take over the online training industry. Your stock drops 46%. So
That is wild. But here it is, guys. I believe we traded this before. I can't recall how good or bad it was, but I do like this drop, guys. 45%, 2.2 million shares traded so far. I think this can do something today. We'll be on short selling restriction at the market open, but yeah, I think this will be a good one for today. Let's see what happens here. All right, let's head over to what else is next. TVTX this morning. They don't have as much volume. They're down 25% this morning, but the volume is just not there. Looks like it happened last night. Maybe earnings on this, based on when it
well,
took place.
yeah, remember TVTX that we were talking about them? Didn't we talk about them the other day? Or maybe that was TGTX. Oh my god, I like so close that I got it wrong.
Or-
Hold on, I don't know what's going on, because I noticed they were up the last 2 days, and then they fell off here. So
Yeah, that was a different one. That was
um,
TGX was some other one. Correct. Yeah.
TGTX, yeah,
Yeah.
it actually was very close. Anyways, okay, but this happens to be in the same industry. Interesting. It is a biotech, and it looks like they did not have a good endpoint study on their phase 3 of one of their treatments. So that's why we're seeing this down 25, almost 25% this morning. Not big volume though, for what is obviously clearly impactful news on the company. The volume is relatively low, but yeah, bad news on their phase 3 study.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Not a whole lot of volume, guys. Not great. We'll move on this one. Let's look at EI, EIP, E EEPI, EEP, Geez, EEP. There we go. IEP.
Easy for you to say.
EEP. Yeah, no, no, no. IEP. Let's take a look at it here. Down not 10% this morning, 531,000 shares traded. So again, getting some activity today. As we are seeing a drop here, checking if it's earnings on this one. No, because earnings will be coming up May 5th, according to my data here. So something ahead of earnings, not looking so hot for this one this morning. It doesn't trade well, guys. Very light volume. They barely get above 5 million shares traded per day. Today, so far, they have 500,000. So maybe this could be a day where they could trade very well. But what I'm looking at, the spread here is bouncing all over the place. So we got to be careful on that. I'm not sure what the news is, Peter. I'm going to put as a possible. I think we'll have to come back and see how this looks in a couple of more minutes. But right
Uh,
now, you got to be careful with it.
Yeah, IEP. It's interesting because this is ICANN. What is the name of the company? It's ICANN Enterprises.
Yeah.
And well, most people I imagine would have heard of the billionaire Carl Icahn, who owns a majority stake in this. It seems like it's a battle of the short sellers right now. So Hindenburg research has come out with a hit report on IEP saying that
Oh.
they're the valuation is inflated and we're seeing them take a hit now. As Brian in our room has said several times, these don't always last. So it might last a day or two or a couple of hours or a couple of months. You never know. But usually these stocks bounce back at some point. So, but right now there's a hit report, which is what's taking it down on, okay volume, but that's where we're at. And I don't
Okay.
know. I don't like trading these because you just never know
Yeah.
which way the news is going to go, right? Like if someone else comes out and says, "Yeah, I agree," and it's always so self-serving. This is where I get a little jaded, right? Like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
any of these when they put out these hit reports, it's clearly they've taken a short position and they're looking for everybody to dump it, right? That's how they
Hmm.
make their money. But
I don't understand
um,
how that is legal. Like I don't understand how the exchange allows that. Because and then there's no like for example, SQ. This happened to SQ a couple of days ago, if you guys remember that, a couple of weeks ago now. And there was another big one too. AI, actually. AI, right? If you guys remember that one, probably some fraud on their accounting, if you guys remember.
their accounting,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so they got hit as well. And they just never
You
hear
know, it,
back.
it's in one of those gray areas of freedom of speech, and hey, if you're correct, then it's not slander, right? It's facts. So, and there's nothing preventing you from, because they're not insiders technically. They're just doing research on the company from an outside position. So if their own hard work gives them information that they're willing to trade on, then I guess they're allowed to do it, right, within the rules. But you're right. It does seem a
It,
little
it seems a
sketchy,
little
but
sketchy.
yeah, it's not
Absolutely.
not illegal.
Hey, we're gonna start our own reporting company, and we're gonna start just putting hit pieces out and stuff, and we'll go short ahead of it, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. All right, so there it is. AI took that hit a couple of weeks ago. Let's look at the next one here. Last on our list, on our gap down list, is BP, and these guys are dropping very aggressive this morning, down 6.1, 460. What's up with these guys? They're actually moving pretty well this morning. Oh,
Yeah,
pre-market
so
earnings.
good old British Petroleum. I guess they're just called BP these days. They did have earnings, mixed results, nothing terrible, but they did miss on revenue, beat on earnings. I think they also said they were not going to have a share buyback this year, but that's really not news. But really, it's just this mixed earnings that's got them moving downwards this morning.
All right, so I'm gonna add them to the list as a possible. Today they look good. Today, out of all days, they're actually looking pretty nice to trade. This pre-market activity looks nice. The spread is not bad actually, 3 cents, 5 cents at times. So that's not bad for this type of company. So yeah, today they could actually be tradable. I might end up moving this up because we don't have a whole lot on our list that looks great besides Uber and CHGG here. All right, let's take a look at some of the stuff you have, Peter, on your end. What do you like this morning?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of earnings. Not all of it is hitting our gappers list so far. So let me just mention a couple of the highlights from my perspective. Last night we had CAR, which is the Budget Avis group. They beat their numbers and we're sort of moving after hours a little bit, but no big volume this morning. MGM Resorts beat their numbers handily, so a good beat. They also have a secondary news that they are buying a company called Push Gaming. So A couple of bits of news on MGM. The combination of beating your numbers, and then usually when you're acquiring a company, you drop a little bit. You can see net that sort of put them down just slightly, but they don't typically trade a lot of volume pre-market. But if you like that sector, then you might want to keep an eye on MGM. We also had NXPI, which had earnings, beat their numbers, and raised guidance. This is a semiconductor, so that's interesting for me, because I like my AMD and NVIDIA. But NXPI was the one
Oh,
that
and
moved this morning.
XPI.
X is in X-ray. There
There
you
we go.
go. You can see that they're gapping up a little bit this morning, but again, based on their beating their numbers and raising their guidance. Pfizer had earnings this morning. PFE. They beat their numbers and just confirmed their guidance. They didn't raise it. They just sort of said, "Yeah, we should be on track for the whole year." So reconfirming what they were going to do. Last two I'll mention are Marriott Resorts, MAR, beat their numbers, and TAP. So we got to get the hotel and the beer in there. TAP. I do like their ticker symbol, by the way. This is Molson's, I think. Molson Coors TAP. It's a good ticker, anyways. But they don't normally trade very well, as you can see. Like no volume this morning, but they did beat their numbers.
Yeah.
There's lots of others out there, but those are the ones that I had on my list.
There you go. All right, excellent. We are looking here on Amazon at the moment. We're going to be making a purchase for non-clicking pens for Peter. So we got a couple here. Peter, I just need your address. We're going to send you these. We're going to pick up something here. This one here. This one looks good. $189 for this pen here, man. This is it's just great. Look at that. How can this pen cost $189? A classic. Oh, it's a click pen. Never mind. No, we don't want that. Oh my goodness.
All right,
189.
sorry,
that is fun.
Clicking in your ear.
No, it's funny because I don't notice it until people start saying it in chat, and then it's in my head. I'm like, okay, now I hear it. And as you talk faster, the pen goes faster. So it's like, okay, yeah, not we love Peter. Let's give Peter a thumbs up. All right, guys. Peter, just throw it across the room over there, so you're not tempted to grab it. The pen, just. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, question here, Pete. Yeah, I want to answer that, but I don't know if I should. I might get in trouble if I answer that question in chat here. But let me see. I'll think about answering that. Let's go to the chat and see what else we have, guys, on deck.
In the room, people are mentioning Hour, HOUR.
Hour, HOUR.
Hour Loop, which is an internet retail company with like under a 2 million share float. They've traded 10.8 million shares so far this morning. What the?
Yeah,
I mean, really.
I mean, this is a penny stock, really, under $1 at some point here, under $2. It's in play. There's no question it's in play. Hour Loop, I don't know what they do, but man, it's just, you got to be so careful here. This is not something I'll be watching. 221% up this morning. Yeah, it's got to be your thing. It really has to be your thing. It cannot be something where you're just, hey, let me try this. Let me try the opening range on this one. Let me try a mountain pass or ABCD pattern on this thing. Got to be careful. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, and this, it's only $5. Yes, it's up 220%, but it jumps $1 and you got another 80% move on it. So this thing could, it could be great, right? You could make a ton of money on it, but you could also lose your shirt. So like we always say on these, right, be careful. There's no question it's in play. It is the top volume stock right now and the top gainer, so it's definitely moving around here. But
yeah, not one that I'll be watching, guys. So be careful if you decide to watch that. Good entertainment purposes, right? Let's see. It's just going to get to like 300 today. So good for entertainment purposes. That's really it. All right, let's take a look here. We'll start with, I saw Tesla, I saw AMD. Let's take a look at those. So here's AMD this morning, not doing a whole lot. Earnings is tonight, Peter, right? Or tomorrow? No, tonight. Yes. So tonight. AMD will be tonight. I mean, it's not doing a whole lot right now, very light volume. Can this do something today? Yeah, it might be able to, get something going into earnings. But I think after the bell today, well, not the second bell, I think this will be fun. And also tomorrow, depending on how the gap goes. See, AMD has a lot going on for it, by the way. They have their earnings tonight. We have then tomorrow they'll do whatever they do. Then we'll have the FOMC minutes tomorrow. So there's a lot for AMD that gonna be in play in the next couple of days. But today might not be that day. So we'll have to see. Next, I saw Tesla. Again, very, very, very weird trading. Even less volume than yesterday. Again, just everybody kind of, you know, holding off until tomorrow. 980,000 shares traded. By now, we would have had 3 million shares traded. Again, I know these days can be good, Peter. You say you like days when things are not, flying off the shelf here, but it could be a little quiet and just sideways action until tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we're going to see a little bit of quiet movement. AMD, for example, doesn't move a lot into earnings. Tesla is just sort of sailing. They're going to be impacted by whatever the interest rate announcement is for sure. So I think it's going to be relatively quiet, but we'll see. Maybe we're wrong. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. All right, let's take a look here at what's the other one? Coin. I see coin being mentioned.
Coin,
Yeah,
coin
coin.
just
Yeah.
had a big, big jump here. I mean, there was some Bitcoin news over the overnight. I guess what I'm trying to say
Mm-hmm.
here, but I don't. I have to admit, maybe I need to get more familiar with Bitcoin. So this Bitcoin request for comment tokens jumped like 680% in the last couple of days, from a net value of 17 million to 137 million. So maybe that's what's doing it here. I mean, it's got to be a pretty small part of their business based on the valuation there. But these BRC20s, as apparently they're called, I don't even know
Wow.
what these are, to be honest. If
This
anybody knows
thing,
what that is, let me
I
know.
have, man, you spoke in Chinese to me there. I have no idea. Coin is going, man. Though this thing is up 5% now and shooting up very aggressively. Volumes coming in. So yeah, this is definitely a play. I'm going to add it on here. Hard to borrow, which I don't remember seeing coin as hard to borrow, but it is now. With no shares for interactive brokers at the moment. And yeah, it's cranking. It's cranking.
I'm wondering, Carlos. These days I have to keep wondering if this is what it feels like to be old, because I'm watching the hockey playoffs, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watch the hockey playoffs, and these betting companies are advertising like crazy, especially when you get playoff action, right? Any sports playoffs, you seem
Every
to
other
get that
ad.
these
Every
days.
other ad. Yeah.
Right, but they keep advertising these online gaming, and they got to say, and like they're proudly announcing every commercial. We have got same game parlays. We've got multi goal combo plays. Anyways, they mention all these terms. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it's all like your advertising is completely lost to me, because I just you're frightening me away. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, think about it. It sounds like a video game. So who they're going after, right? It's that younger crowd. Because it sounds like some kind of a Fortnite video game where you go these combo plays and
Clearly.
this Roblox type game. So they're going right after that crowd, which is it's crazy. But yeah, that's what it is. It doesn't
But
attract me and you, man. That's that. I don't care
no,
about no combo play.
but it would seem to me, though, that if you're advertising on TV, I'm the one watching it who's, so you're missing your audience, because otherwise the people that already know, they probably don't need the ad. But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
but so
All
in
right.
crypto we're getting the same thing, right? There seem to be,
Yeah,
like, every time I turn around there's another variation of the coin that's, oh my god, this thing is exploding. I mean, I didn't even know this thing existed, so what do I even do with that information? So that's moving coin this morning. That's great. Look at coin, it's jumping up. But I don't know. I mean, I'll watch coin, actually, because I do like trading it. When it gets the
yeah. Same.
volume, it can actually be a
Hmm.
good trader. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm unfortunately not very useful at interpreting what BRC20s have done to the stock.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Devils. Yes. All
I'm
right,
going to go
guys.
back to clicking my pen.
We at least we understand that, right? We don't understand this bag, whatever thing is they have going on. All right, guys, let's look at
That's
one
right.
more here. Is going to be just saw a PFE. Let's take a look at PFE here, and they are they're not that interesting as far as what's happening right now, right? So you had an initial pop, we're back down here. Do we have earnings on this? What do we have going
Yeah,
on?
I did
You
mention
did
that
mention that
we
one.
had
Okay.
earnings on them,
Okay.
and they don't typically trade pre-market all that much. Again, NYSE stock, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so there it is, guys. I'm not, again not a big fan of PFE. We need more volume. Right now, it hasn't really done much. You just got one pop and then right back down here. So again, nothing explosive on their earnings. Now we know from PFE you have to wait for the market open, right? So you can't really go off what you see right now solely. Wait for the bell and see if you get any kind of movement on here. But at the moment, it's not doing all that well. All right, let's take a look here. I think we're set, guys. Let's take a look over our community events and announcements. We're gonna come back and look at this list. We got a couple on here for Uber, CHGG, AMD, and Coin. We got some possibles, and we'll take a look at anything else that gets going. Like we see Coin right now, it's just continuing to rip here as we move forward.
All right. Well, so we have our onboarding class, which we do every Monday. My understanding, Carlos, is it's not always you that has to carry that burden
That's
now. Now
that's
it's
right. Yes, yes. So
Mike and Megan.
Mike and Megan will be taking over that class. I was with them last night. We had a good class, brand new class, guys, as well. So if you're fairly new and you haven't seen the onboarding class recently, definitely go check it out. Megan and Mike will be doing that, and they have a really nice class that they set up for you. So definitely go check it out next Monday. And yeah, they'll be taking over that, and there'll be a whole lot of fun to see other people how they do it, and different perspectives. Always great.
Well, there you go. M squared, M and M's, whatever you want to call them. Mike and Megan. They'll be doing that class. So stay tuned for that every Monday. It's Tuesday today, which means that Mike's back, going to be doing his failed breakout strategy tonight for us at 8 o'clock. That's in the webinar room for all of our elite members. And then there's something next week, and then 2 weeks from now, I'll be talking about my lightning bolt pattern. So we'll need to figure out what's happening this coming week, because Carlos, we got a gap in
Yeah,
there,
we got
but
a
that's
gap there.
okay.
You know what? That is my slide, which I update every Sunday. So as you continue, I'll check to see if there's anything else that has been filled in on the website.
All right, thank you. Psychology happens on Wednesdays, and our psychology webinar this week is with Dr. Kenneth Reed, who's going to be talking about how to stop trying to fix yourself. So I am looking forward to that one. I've been mentioning it for 2 weeks now, so that's coming up tomorrow. And then next week we'll have Creta with us. It's early when Creta does it, always at 5 o'clock, so keep that in mind. Thursday's about mentorship. Oh my, I'm going to whistle into the mic. I'm making all sorts of noises over here. Anyways, but our mentorship is happening on Thursday at 11 o'clock with John and at 8 o'clock with Thor. Hopefully you'll attend both of those. If you want to get your questions answered, go in depth in certain topics, that's your opportunity to do it, and that's why we host those every Thursday. Don't forget, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have our options chat room, which is open. It's not open today, right? So Tuesday, Thursdays, there's no options chat room, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday it is. So you can attend that. And then every single day of the week, 24 hours a day, if you want to get information on the markets, go to tradingterminal.com. It's where we put all of the information that helps you as an active trader sort of get on with your day, including a live simulator. We have our scanners that you can use to get information on the markets real time. Give it a shot. You can customize and configure them for your own use. It's fantastic, right? So I use them all day to let me know what's happening in the market. And for the moment, it's completely free to use. So take advantage of it while you can. If you wanted to join us here at Bear Bull Traders, look, we got a couple of deals for you. If you just want to sort of kick the tires and see what it's like, try the intro. That gives you access to the Education Center and both of our chat rooms. You can get that if you're listening right now for only $24 for a week. It's a 1-week trial. Use the code premarket24. It's really a great deal to test it out. If you decide then you want to join a little longer, you can use our basic or elite monthly plans, or the best deal always is our elite annual, which right now is 60% off, $9.99 just for you. Use the code Mount Everest and you can take advantage of that deal.
There you go. All right, thank you, Peter. Let's head over here to our watch this morning. See what we got as far as levels. Coin dropping a bit now from the highs, all the way up to 53.34, back down here to 51.41. So a lot of movement on this thing. Volume has dried up a little bit. Let's see how this is gonna end up here. Again, it started off very well, then it's just slowly, just volume just died. So we'll come back to that one. All right, our list so far: Uber, CHGG, AMD, and Coin. Which again, now doesn't look all that great, but we know we expected this going into the few days before the FOMC meeting in minutes here. Let's see, 36.40 is the high of the pre-market on Uber, guys. So nice pop here. I'm hoping this can trade well today, up 8.5. It has the volume. We've seen this picture many times before. We just hope this move is going to have a different ending and not trade horrible. So we're hoping that it can actually give us a good opportunity. Let's take a look at 34.73. Nice level between the high and low of the pre-market this morning. Right in between here, you have tons of touches on here, guys. Just look at the days. Slamming against that for support and resistance. Just tons of stuff happening there. Good level to have on deck. Where the price action is at now, I'm going to mark that down because if you look at the pre-market alone, you do have a little bit of resistance happening there, trying to get some support of that 35.50. And if you look at the last around this range here where we were hanging out, you do have a couple of days slamming against that, right around that area. So I think that's worth noting to have a nice midpoint this morning between the highs and lows there. Towards the bottom, you got the highs and lows for the last two trading days, previous day close. But that's a big move, 34.73 to around 32.50. Because this stock, can move quite a bit. We're going to put a level here at 33.97. You also have a bunch of days in here moving around, slamming against that price. So you definitely want to have that there. Now, if we move outside of that range, towards the top, at least towards the bottom, your cover. Towards the top, we do have 37.30. And I believe we've definitely been higher. I just don't know when. It's been a while. 52-week high. Yes, just making it to 52-week high because last time we were in this area seems to be February. Yep, so 52-week high as we're breaking through that now. We do have one at 39.56. So yeah, slam a level there. I think you're all set on Uber. Again, this thing has everything going for it. We just needed to trade well at the market open. But right now the range in the pre-market looking very nice. So there is a lot of potential on it right now. Here is CHGG, right? So CHGG, if we look at this low of the pre-market, we're looking at 924. High of the pre-market, we're looking at 1105. So we'll slam a level there. And there it is, your high and low of the pre-market for this one, dropping down 45%. Really good volume. So it's got a lot of movement on here. Let's go to the left. When was the last time we were hanging out in this area? Oh, it's been a while. Man, have we been down here before? This has been some time. Yes.
Yeah, it's I don't know if we've been this low before.
Ooh. Definitely 52-week low, guys. And I mean, wow, going back to 2017. So yeah, this is really far out. We haven't been here in a very, very long time. I don't know if anybody else is going back and looking at 2017, but look at the low of the pre-market, right where the gap is on this day here, literally right on it. So we'll mark some levels just because we took the time to go back here. 1203 is a good one. We also have 1292. And then towards the bottom here, we have a really good one over at 853. So we'll do that for now. We'll see how this goes. The volume is there. I think this will be a active one today. Can it trade well? Can it give us some opportunities? Will be the key. This is a big drop, guys. 45%. It's a lot this morning. All right, let's take a look at AMD. AMD is not doing a whole lot, so I don't. It's more of a possible. I have it here because they have earnings coming up at the end of the day today. So we possibly can get something going into earnings this evening. But outside of that, they're not really looking great this morning. So we'll have it on here. Love the pre-market at 89.24. Our highs above the previous day close over at 89.91. So we'll slam a level there. And then you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days. I'm not going to add too much on here. Again, not really a whole lot going on this morning. And here is coin just coming right back down where it came from. So again, not sure how this news is playing out at the moment. 53.35 high of the pre-market. And once you slam that level there and one at the low of the pre-market at 49.10, you are pretty much set, guys. Because look around, you have the highs and lows of the last two trading days, previous day close. So it's just a lot on there as far as levels. And there you have it, guys. Again, Not a blockbuster list, that's for sure. But this is our list right now. We hope that this can get better at the market open. Peter, anything that you have on your list that maybe we haven't touched on yet?
Nothing new that we haven't already talked about. There's some stuff with a lot of volume that's pretty sketchy. But you know what? I'm going to watch them today because I think it might be fun. I remember we've got a couple of economic announcements at 10, which may cause things to bump a little bit. And then, like we keep saying, right, the big news is going to come out tomorrow afternoon. So that's the interest rate. Again, not. I mean, everybody's expecting a quarter point increase. We're not looking for anything crazy, but you never know what's going to happen. So, a lot of the bigger stocks, I think, are going to be sort of sitting in wait for that type of announcement. So, let's see what happens. Interestingly, what we don't see today is banking. Right? There's no banking news.
Yeah,
So,
you're
despite the
right.
big failure of FRC yesterday, it's really gone quiet. The financial markets sort of absorbed that without even a burp yesterday, and we've sort of gone back to business as usual, which
Yeah.
seems crazy, but there you have it. So
Back to boring trading for JP Morgan. They had their fun in the sun here, and it's just back
yeah,
to 48,000 shares traded today.
without even
It's
a burp,
okay.
Megan.
Yeah, yeah. Regular Tuesday morning. All right, friends, let's take a look at our moderators list this morning here. Let's see what we got going on. So we'll start with Susan, looking at the overall market, Apple, AMD, secondary list, NVIDIA, Amazon, and Baba. IPO for today, GODNU. So that's the one you got coming out today. Megan's looking at Meta. Peter, AMD, Uber, Tesla, and a secondary list coin, PFE, and CHGG. Brian will be looking at Uber, Tesla, Baidu, and CHGG this morning. So there you have it, friends. That is our list at the moment. As we get ready to rock and roll, Brian's coming up next, trading live in our chat room. Tesla, we did look at Tesla, right? Yes. There's nothing going on here. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the bell can give us some opportunities here and some good trading momentum to jump on. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. If you haven't had the opportunity yet to hit that thumbs up, we appreciate it very much. We're sitting at 104. We'd love to be at 150. 150 is like our number there. If we can get that, it's much appreciated. Does help us out a ton, so we appreciate that. If you are enjoying the show, definitely hit that like once. If you don't like the show and if you're not enjoying what you're seeing, just hit it 3 times, right? Hit the likes 3 times. It's perfectly fine. No problems at all. All right,
That'll
friends.
work perfectly.
Yeah, that works also.
There you go. Thanks,
um,
Carlos. Like, I'm going to go sit in the corner for being a bad boy and playing with my pen. But I hope you guys have a great trading day, and we'll see you back tomorrow, pen free.
Absolutely. Peter, can we see the pen? Can you show us the
There
pen?
you go.
Where's the pen at? Show
Sure.
us show us
There you go.
a there it
This
is.
is
Is that a
this,
hundred
this
and
is the
eighty
pen
nine
that's
dollar
caused all the
pen?
problems. One last for posterity. Here you go. We'll just
We're about to retire the pen. Here we go. We're gonna have a ceremony on
there
this
you go.
as Peter retires his pen.
The stress center. Anyways, all right. Enough of that. All right. Have a good day. Trade well, everybody.
All right, take care, guys.